Morning, man, behind the scenes.
Morning.
Check this out. We're in our third shop.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got a fancy light up there. All right, Joey's here somewhere. He brought some goodies today.
Yeah, he did.
Here's the ultimate goal. We're going to be putting tile in the ground with this machine by the end of the day. Hopefully. Bad news is we're inside because it's kind of raining outside.
Yeah.
But the good news is Joey's got parts.
Yeah.
And he's here.
So we can get this thing going.
Are you excited?
I'm ready to see it do something.
Me and you both, buddy. So is my checkbook.
Yeah.
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Oh, the first thing you gotta do is show me up with your light there, huh?
That's right.
That's all right. I still got you beat up
Love
there.
the color, Joey. I love the color.
It's a bright one.
Yes, it is.
All right. So first things first, we need to explain what we're trying to do here.
So any type of double link machine or self-contained machine has a float function.
So double link basically means this is one link, that's the second link up there.
There are two sets of parallel links, and that rear section needs to be able to float when you're plowing.
So basically this cylinder right here needs to have no pressure on it.
That's correct. It just needs to be able to come up and float. The existing float valve is not functional, and wherever they found that valve back in 1980, whatever, is no longer made. So we're swapping it out to a newer style of a...
So basically all we're doing is taking the two hoses coming off this cylinder, and with these solenoid valves, whenever we activate them, it's going to return that oil to tank. So there's no pressure involved. Whenever we deactivate those solenoids, it'll connect the lines back together so we can operate that function. And we'll figure this out later, but basically whenever we set this shank down the ground, we're going to get that to where it's plumb.
Yeah, well, we're going to get it to, where it's plumb.
Yeah, this is tile plow 101, Joey.
Yeah,
this isn't the college course you were teaching a while ago.
Yeah, it's a little more complicated because when a plow is, like if you were to put a 4-foot level on there, it's not where the machine grades to. So we basically have to find where the machine planes out to. And that's where we'll set that latex sensor to.
Gotcha. All right, so first things first is get this thing plumbed in, right?
Yep.
And Joey made us a fancy bracket that should reuse the old holes. Spoiler alert, Joey, there was only one bolt in that.
Well, it's gonna work then. Yeah.
So I think you got her covered there, man.
Yeah.
And then we got some, it's gonna be a little tight getting them hoses back in there, but I think we can pull her off. All right, let's do it. Man, you got all kinds of spare parts, and I seen a random part on the trailer out there.
There is a random part on the trailer.
We'll show them
Did you
that.
not get the memo?
I did not get the memo on this.
No, on the hats.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
Where's
you didn't
yours?
get the memo.
oh, no, wait a minute. Hold on, can we do the, No,
Got it. There you go. That's better.
this isn't even technically your hat, is it?
No, it's a PTX Trimble hat.
Yeah, so there.
Yeah.
And PTX Trimble hasn't done anything for us, but Joey has. So now I need, that's the guy that's actually helping us out. Let's
Yeah.
get that clear. So
I got one of them hats too.
yeah, well, yeah, you stole mine. All right,
Oh, yours is in your truck.
is it?
Yep.
I just looked, that was a Don's Automotive hat.
No.
Joey,
it's
let me
just a
tell you,
sock hat.
one of the major issues with having a larger YouTube channel is trying to make sure you got the right hat on.
That's
Turns
right,
into
yeah.
quite the feat sometimes, let me tell you. Sometimes I just think I'm gonna go without a hat, then I realize how gray I am. I'm like, that's not a good idea either.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going in the belly of the beast.
All right. Nope. The color is not specific. All right. Sounds good. Get back. There you go.
All right, gentlemen, I feel like a real movie star down here. I got like 3 lights shining on me. We got our brackets, our hoses, no, our valves plumbed in. Oh, there's our bracket going on.
All right, now let me just get a wrench.
Now, let me make sure I can. Well, I should have probably put that hose on the other side. Hindsight being 2020. No, I shouldn't have, because these go this way. I did it right. Have no fear, we are correct, my friend. All right, this next step's gonna be a little harder to video, so I'm just gonna show you the end result. We need to get from here, this is the return to that fitting way back there, which is gonna be fun. We might pull that panel off the other side, I'm not for sure yet. We're gonna find a way to make it happen. Okay, hopefully I can show you this best I can. System is complete. Up there, you guys can see, is all of our return plumbing. It comes out of our valves down there. We got our wiring going in, ties into our existing junction box down there. And we're grounded right there. So, I believe we're ready to give this thing a good old-fashioned test run. Fire in the hole, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, Joey, we thought we had a valve problem, but we actually had a wiring problem. Little switch will get you every time.
That's right.
Well, luckily I know a guy that brought a few extras, and now your phone's been ringing, and now it's my turn's phone to be ringing. But it works.
It does. We flip the switch.
Oh, we got to turn the key on.
The pinning key on.
Oh, look at that. Money, baby.
Floats.
All right, now we got all the plumbing working properly. We're gonna fire this thing up, pull it back outside, and get the GPS installed on it. Guys, now we got everything working properly. We're gonna pull this thing outside and make sure our GPS, like I said, don't hit our light. Pull this thing back outside, get the monitor back in it, get a plan.
didn't leave that on, did you?
No.
Okay.
All right. Joey's on an important phone call. You think we're smart enough to remember how to do this?
Oh yeah, we got this. He's just gonna sit back and we're we're we know we did something wrong.
Oh.
That's what he needs.
All right, and then you got there you go.
This has to go on a certain way. You remember
Yep.
why it goes this way? It goes this way. It goes this way. There you go. This goes on here. This goes on here. Now we can talk to aliens.
Yeah. Hey, we're already starting better than we did the last time.
You're supposed to leave that part out. Don't leave that.
That's the one Joey messed up that he owes you one.
Oh, GPS cables.
This one right here you messed up.
No,
You owe us a new one.
that's the shop.
Oh, you left it back. Oh, yeah. That,
We were premature alien talking.
yeah.
We didn't have our antenna hooked up. Alright, so that one goes in there. This one goes in here. Over here. And Joey always says make sure it's finger tight and don't force nothing.
Yes.
I got a joke I'll keep to myself right now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and in the back of yonder here, one of these goes in here. So I'm pretty sure that one goes in there. And the other one, which is this one,
Yep.
goes in here. And now we need to fire this thing up and tell it where it's at.
Yeah.
Remember how to do that?
Well, yeah, turn it on first.
Got that part.
All right, believe it or not, but we got this thing right. Everything's set up the way it needs to be on this thing, the base station. Now,
Clean the seats in the truck.
he is going up and wiring the one in on the tile plow. Or I shouldn't say wiring it in, hooking it up. You putting them in the right way, right?
Finger tight only, not forcing anything.
Okay.
All right.
You gonna turn that on?
It'll turn on when you put the display on.
Oh,
All right.
ain't that nifty.
And ain't this-
Then,
I feel like we're just handing down around $1,000 bills here like they're nothing.
Make it rain.
yeah, yeah. For you two.
That's right.
I see Trimble. We're getting somewhere.
But yeah, all the cables.
Did you tell them? Yeah, I think they already know the plow has officially been named Bigfoot.
Okay, yeah, did you tell them that? Yeah.
Well, I think they figured it.
Now we're just gonna have to come up with a Scooby.
Is that necessary?
It's gonna be.
Maybe that's what the survey vehicle will be. All right, let's let this boot up
All
and
right.
figure out what we know what we're doing. All right, so we have started what we call a valve calibration, correct?
Yes. And what it's doing, it's actually, the first calibration it's doing is finding how much of a signal it takes to open the valve for it to start to move. Like it's going through a process, it'll try 2%, then 4%, then it actually just keeps doubling.
So it knows it's moving by the GPS signal,
It's supposed
correct?
to move by GPS. So it'll go like 2, 4, 8, 16, keep going. Once it moves, then it goes back down and starts that process again and really fine tunes at what point in time the valve starts raising. Then it'll go all the way to the top, and it'll do the same thing for lowering. At what point in time of a signal does the valve actually start moving or the plow start moving? Once it's find those start points, then it's going to do a gain calibration. How fast, like if I try a 2% gain, how fast does it move? Try or a gate of 2, 3, 4, and it basically keeps doing that until it finds a starting point up and down, its speed up and down, and then the last calibration is what they call an auto tune, and this thing's just going to keep bouncing up and down as it's.
So basically, we'll take all that information it gathers through this calibration. Whenever it's out in the field and needs to make an adjustment, it knows exactly what it basically tunes it to that valve body.
Yes, it's tuning it to this machine specifically, the valve, the cylinder, the hoses.
So I'm not gonna lie, it's almost like watching paint dry right now.
It is, it is. But now for the next 10 minutes, just kind of keep going up and down, making adjustments, and then taking readings on how fast that adjustment was made or how much distance it made.
Gotcha. Interesting. All right, well, we'll be back in 10 minutes.
Yep.
Not like me going haywire.
Yeah. Joey says this is normal, so.
Yeah.
So Joey, basically we got that all calibrated, so the next thing we need to do is calibrate this, correct?
That's correct.
And we're gonna use the GPS to do that?
GPS deal.
We need to go up here on somewhat flat ground. We're gonna survey a line, and then we're gonna basically run at 0.
Run the plot with 0%, and then once that plane's out at 0%, we'll match that, take that
Like that
match
one.
the GPS.
All right, you boys hanging on?
Right.
So I think Aaron got this on camera. When we first set this thing down on the ground, it was kind of tilted up like this. I'm exaggerating that a little bit.
Yeah.
Then we took off, it leveled itself out, and that's what we're calling, even though that boot is not perfectly plumb, that is plumb to the machine.
Yeah, the machine has planed out to a 0 grade. And so we need to set the sensor at a 0% right now.
So we're going to adjust that sensor right there to where that light reads green. Correct?
Yep.
We got one problem. Neither one of us are tall enough to reach that. All right, Joey's adjusting that sensor. Red flashing right like there. We'll hopefully turn green here at some point. One more. 4. Half degree off. Not enough. Oh, we got a green and one red. There you go. Sweet. All right, so this is adjusted, and basically from here on out, that slope should match that slope. If not, that means we got a problem. This is our true grade right here. We're gonna go just a little bit farther. Make sure everything stays. put pipe in the ground?
I think we are. There's pipe.
You're more optimistic than I am.
I've been on a lot of machines, and this is not the worst one by any means.
We're in the bottom third though, right?
You know, it's older for its age. Okay, for its age, you're in the top. You're in the top side of it.
We're doing good there.
Yeah.
We're on the top side of the jump.
Yeah, right, there you go.
All right, so you know the first run we're going to put in, and we're pretty much going like all out here.
Yeah. You got a dozer here, right?
Yeah. We're going deep and
put her to the test.
All right. I think first things first, we got to switch a boot out.
Yep.
All right, let's do that. All right, sorry I missed it, guys, but Aaron and Joey managed to get the 4-inch boot switched out for the 6-inch boot. We need to keep our fingers crossed the DO850 is going to fire up, because we do have one spot down here. We kind of got to do the old-fashioned notch through a hill. That's what I'm saying. We're going to figure out what this plow's got right off the bat, buddy. She's been sitting for a while. She going to kick?
Oh, I hope so.
Quick fluids check. We got oil. Oh, there's the hole. Come on, baby. We got antifreeze. Come on, baby. Don't let me down. We need you. Oh, we got lights. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Boy, that is a tight fit. We're gonna try to get really fancy here. So I know it's hard to show great on camera. We got a big rolling hump here. What we do in the past is just plow through there with a guess and a prayer.
Yep.
But we're gonna use this technology to our advantage a little bit. It's hard to probably see, but that little crosshair is basically showing where we're at. And right now the pipe is basically 1.6 foot deep here.
Yeah, so we're starting out basically daylighting out to an open ditch. If we go to our design screen, we can see that through this peak here, let me click on this button here, we're about 6.5 feet deep,
Gotcha.
Which is too much for that plow. So we need to scalp some off the top, but we can use the GPS to let us know where we need to take off at. So what we'll do is we'll go to our install tab and we'll put a 4-foot height offset.
So basically the plow will never be deeper than 4 feet in theory.
Exactly. And so now we've made this offset line 4 feet up, and now the dozer is going to follow what that will be. So we're going to
Oh, putting it in gear always helps, Joey. That's still nice.
There we go.
We got it. All right, so we are on the red line, right?
So yeah, well, actually we're going to follow this blue line, that curved line. So you got your AB line here.
All right.
And so once, this is still a fill, so we're under 4 feet deep. Okay, now we'll stop. Now, technically we need to go back 6 but we'll set a flag.
Yeah, so that'll be close enough for our flag purposes.
So I'm going to set this flag.
Hey, it's nice having a flag guy. So after we cut this off with the dozer, now on the 850, Joey, on the 850, if I wanted to get really fancy, we can have this same setup in there and set the GPS to run the blade and
Absolutely.
be dead on, right?
Yep.
All right, so I'm driving towards the light, right?
Yeah, you're driving towards the light. So
that is
you're
the most
left a little
confusing
bit.
thing ever.
Yeah, those arrows don't hit the dozer.
Well, so I parked the dozer right away. All right, so now.
So at this point in time, you'd be taking off 2.5 feet with the dozer. There we go. We're pretty close to that.
Pretty close right there. All right.
And here's where our cut will end.
So now we throw in their flag in. It's dozer time. You ready to see if this thing still pushes dirt?
Yeah, yes, I am.
Dozer don't have grade control, they don't have a light bar on it.
That's why, because you need to move that over about 6 feet. No, that looks pretty
You
good.
need to move your line over.
Okay,
6
we'll
feet.
move the line over 6 feet. No, that looks pretty nice.
Pretty nice. See, you don't need all that fancy stuff. Never got a good eyeball. If he's impressed with that, what do you think he'd think if Jerry was here?
Oh boy.
Now we haven't ran the GPS over to see. It might look nice, but is it all great?
There's no need. It's a dead nut. You can take your fancy stuff and check it if you want to.
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
Here we go. All right, Joey, for simplicity purposes, we don't want this to yield red, right?
Correct. We want it to stay green within a tenth or two or so.
So we're like, we're like right over it. We've got a few speed bumps in here, but
Just a couple.
you'll never notice that on the plow.
No.
So it is flashing red occasionally, but it's not more than a tenth, which is not really going to matter for what we're doing.
But for no vertical guidance, this is certainly a whole lot better than I can do.
Got the good old-fashioned eyeball. I don't know, Joey. We're hanging in there pretty good.
It is not bad.
About 4/10 off
Get
right
a little,
here at the
little
very
bit
end.
there, yeah.
5,
Oh,
4.
have it.
So for about 10, 20 feet maybe. So let me ask you this. Do we need to take 3/10 off, or do we have that extra capacity built into our plow?
Let's post. I've not seen this plow run, so we'll put it to the test.
All right. See what we got. All right. It's all coming down to this.
Yeah.
Joey's gonna switch the monitor back over to the plow. You got the 140 down here. Let's get us a start hole
Yep.
popped in.
See what it's got.
Oh, please work.
Yeah, that looks good.
All right, Joey, the plow's officially set in the ground.
Puts a pipe in.
I hope it's that simple, bud.
It should be.
I hope it's that simple. You ready?
All right, I'm ready.
Just hope the plow's ready.
Yeah. Boy, a lot more action going on back here than the one behind the 850. Oh yeah, she's in
All right, guys, that actually plowed out phenomenal. We pulled through this hard ground where we had good traction with no issues whatsoever. We actually got held up in a mud hole right there. There's a spot that was holding water. If we could have made it another 15-20 feet, we probably would have made it out of it. We're still about 4.5 feet deep, so we are way in the ground. It's actually deeper than the working depth on the other plow. So we're gonna hop on the 850 and just give it a little pull to get out of that little tight area we're in, and then hopefully we'll be good to go. Basically find out where our other 6-inch tees in so we can go again. Joey, now that is the most official mark I have ever seen, my friend.
Official.
All right, so I'll explain this a whole lot more whenever I get more comfortable with it, how we got these measured off. But we got our AB lines marked, which are basically 30-foot offset spacing. We're gonna plow 4-inch going that way. This last one's gonna be 6-inch. It runs up to the barn, which we're gonna mark here. So we're gonna dig down, find out how good a job this tile plow did, put the pipe in, put a T in, and take off that way, right?
That's right.
All right, guys, I'm a little bit out of practice digging start holes, so I hope I don't make a complete butt out of myself here. And we gotta dig this hole a little bit bigger because we gotta get an actual T down in there, not a tap T. This pipe should be very deep. What do you think, man, behind the scenes? Did it do as good a job as our tile plow?
Too deep.
Too deep.
These are a lot deeper getting in and out.
Well, hopefully in the future that'll save us some dozer work.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what the bottom of that ditch looks like whenever you pull out the pipe. We forgot our fancy shovel we made.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's up there. Building now.
With Sawzall?
Sawzall team, yeah.
You remember how to do that?
No. I hope
Well, bottom of the trench don't look too bad. It definitely looks different than what we're used to, but
Yeah.
all right, guys, we got our start hole dug. This is the profile, the one we're going to plow. I'll explain this more in more detail as I kind of learn it, so you guys know. But we're going to drop this plow down. Go again. This power feeder is nice once you get going, but it is a little bit more work to get her in. Going places, and time will tell here, but I think we hit, you guys remember this is the abandoned farm, I think we hit an old stump that's buried in the ground. We hit something fairly hard, fairly quick, so we're gonna give her a little tuggy here and see what happens. They can't see the line I didn't follow.
Oh, that's exactly how we mapped it out.
Okay, I like the way you're thinking there. So, all right, so we got about 1,000 feet of pipe in the ground. Obviously, it took way longer than it normally does because we're learning a whole lot. And it's hard to gauge on ground conditions. I'm pretty sure the 850J, I know the 850J wouldn't make these turns. I can promise you that. And in these ground conditions, as deep as what we were, I think we'd be having the same struggle. But all in all, I think the plow performed pretty well. What do you think?
It's still in one piece and it's still operational.
Hey, that is a good point. No breakdowns.
Yeah.
And we stayed, I think a few times we were plus or minus a tenth, but it may have been me getting a little over Joey.
A little quick. Yeah.
It started going, Joey. I was ready, ready to go. So
when it had traction, it went.
So here's the long short of it. I was extremely impressed pulling through our cut because we were 4.5 feet deep and it was pulling it like absolute nothing. So the machine's got the power.
Yeah.
We got into that mud and slime down there, and we were still deep, and we struggled a little bit, which I think we're going to the other way. What I'm saying is, I think there's hope. It's a long gibberish saying is, I think there's hope. This thing's going to work.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Some people said this thing would never lay pipe because the final drives are on the wrong end, but they forget it's done laid 1 million feet of pipe.
It's probably laid more than that. The guy in Ohio ran that. He put the pipe in back in the day.
So it's a proven machine. The biggest question mark was all of our upgrades. They seem to work. GPS seems to work. There is some trinkets in the future we may add to it. Mm-hmm. But here's the sad part. Joey's going to leave us.
Everyone's got to have that first day on their own. You'll be fine.
I know. I feel like I'm leaving the hospital with a new kid again, Joey. I'm not sure if I can figure this out, but if we build a tile plow from scratch and learn how to put a pipe in, I'm pretty sure we can figure this out.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
All right, Joey. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
You got a little prize for us on the trailer. They're going to have to wait for that.
Yeah.
But the most importantly, you guys specialize in drainage plows and pretty much nothing else.
Yeah, 90% of what we do is farm drainage plows and GPS.
And that's more than just GPS. You guys rebuild plows, you build custom cabs, you redo final drives. I mean, if it's a drainage plow, you guys do it from...
We've taken them from the ground up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if anybody out there is in the drainage business, you're watching this because you want to know what not to do. But if you want a guy who knows what to do or you need parts, get a hold of Joey.
Well, thank you.
I will link him down below. He's been a huge help. And most importantly, 95% of the time he answers the phone when you got a question.
I try.
And if he don't know, he'll find out. So, yeah. All right, Joey, thanks a million. We're going to wrap this one up. Aaron and I may come down here tomorrow. We got 4 runs of 4 inch across that bottom, which should be pretty straightforward. I'm glad we started on my own farm. Not that we've screwed anything up, but at least I know we're doing things right. So thanks again.
Thank you.
If your travels take you through southern Indiana or just looking for a unique destination, everybody is always welcome here at the world-famous Derby Market and the home headquarters of the Dirt Perfect operation. No guarantees you'll catch Aaron or myself, but feel free to take all the pictures you like. Just for obvious reasons, please don't climb on or in any of the equipment. And most importantly, please tag us on all the social platforms, including the Derby Market. Before you head out, take a quick trip inside, look around, and locate the Dirt Perfect Visitors Map. Be sure you pin the location you traveled from and enter the Dirt Perfect Visitors drawing for a chance to win some Dirt Perfect merch. As always, guys, thank you for watching and supporting this channel. It means the world, and we shall catch you on the next one.